Most people talk about out-of-body experiences, but Corey lived it and then had Darius show up in his living room during one. In this conversation, Corey Brandon, also known as the Soul Traveller 77, shares his journey from his religious roots to soul mastery, the moment he hugged his best friend on the other side, and why he believes he's here to witness the end of the construct. This one's deep and unforgettable. Stay tuned in.
As always, please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps. Thank you. Fantastic. Corey, I am so excited to talk to you. As I mentioned to you just now, ever since I saw your testimonial, the first testimonial actually on Darius's channel, I was just like, this guy he's just full of passion, full of conviction. He's obviously experiencing out of body stuff. And I've been wanting to speak to you since then, as I mentioned, but I'd had no idea of how to get hold of you. So I'm just super excited to have you on here, man. And yeah, to get deep into everywhere you've been, what you've experienced, and more.
Yeah. So first, before we get into this, I want to say thank you for inviting me to your channel to talk to your audience. I never thought that YouTube would be something I would be doing. I'll just be honest with you. I never really planned on doing anything other than trying to find out the truth. It wasn't really about anything else, but now I'm understanding that I have a greater purpose to share what I have seen, and not just what I've seen or experienced, but also how it's changed my inner body experience, so to speak.
Okay.
So again, thank you for inviting me on your channel to speak with you. I'm glad we were able to get connected. Um, Eventually we were going to get connected because souls attract each other. So on the other side, I might have known you for eons. I don't, you know what I'm saying? And just, we agreed
Yeah.
to, at this point in our experience here, we would meet and have this exchange. And so once you've had the out of body experience, you start looking at every interaction you have with different people in a different way, because these are people you could be part of your soul family, so to speak, whatever they call a soul family. But these souls, we're all connected to one source. So in essence, we all know each other. We all souls know all things. So all souls know all souls. So it's very, it's powerful when I start meeting people in this realm, in this experience, because I have a different understanding. I understand that I probably knew them for years or decades or eons or eternities on the other side. So we were bound to get
Yeah.
connected at some point. So
And I'm glad. I'm glad. So
yeah,
Corey,
absolutely.
let's start from the top. Like, how did you get into out body experiences? Like, what was it? What was the trigger? I think I heard a
Um,
little bit on Darius, but for anybody who
yeah,
hasn't seen your
yeah,
testimonials, tell us.
yeah. So I'll be honest. It started with my religious background. I guess that is probably where it began. I grew up in a very religious household. My grandmother was a preacher, which is crazy. And so I grew up in a super religious household. So at one point in my life, I started to ask questions about religion. And I'll never forget, my aunt told me something at 16 that I never will forget. She said, religion will never be enough for you because you ask too many questions. And I said, I've always been inquisitive as a young kid. Why? What does that mean? How does that work? That's always been my thing. So I remember, I'll never forget that day. We were sitting in my aunt's house. I remember the weather. I remember everything about it that time. And she said that to me, and those words really stuck with me for the rest of my life. So it was getting to a point around about 2017 or so. I started kind of asking more and more questions and start digging and digging more. And it took me to a place where I had left church and religion totally. So I remember that day clearly too. I was sitting in church service on a Sunday and I looked around. I said, my soul just spoke to me. It said, nobody is getting anything out of this that is going to help their lives. And I literally just started looking around. It's a big auditorium of people. I'm looking around. I'm like, again, people gonna believe what they believe, but that spoke to me. And I'm sitting there listening to the sermon. I'm like, you're getting nothing from this. This is not answering the questions that you have. So I left church and I started getting into different things and just started studying the Bible, because that was my reference point. Because of the religion I grew up in, I started searching in the Bible for more clues about humans, how we were brought here, what our purpose is, those type of things. Now, to go back, 2011, my mother passed away. So that was pretty heavy. Most people start looking for the truth around the time somebody important in their life passes, because you're trying to figure out what happened to that person. But, I was still in church, and I kind of attributed to, this is just how it works. And you live, you die, you go to heaven, you go to hell, whatever the case may be. But then going back to that, then I started kind of breaking away from the faith system or the belief system. I don't want to say faith, because I do have faith. It's just I don't believe things anymore. I know things. Either I know it or I don't. And that's one of the great things about OBEs. It basically gets rid of this false sense of belief, because belief really is a con. It's like you don't know it, so you're telling yourself you know something that you don't actually know. So once I having the OBEs, then that kind of changed. Like, I know what I know, and then what I don't know yet. But anyway, so I'll never forget, I kind of morphed into researching the Hebrew Israelites. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but it's a group of people that say, yeah, exactly. So they had a really strong story from about 2015 to right after COVID, around 2021. And they were really kind of on the scene. And I kind of was like listening, because I'm like, okay, this sounds more like the truth than church, because they're actually following laws and commandments and doing stuff that I didn't understand how just believing in something could save you, because then that makes it easy. Anybody can believe and everybody should be saved. But in the same token, the religion is telling me only a few people are going to be saved. So how is that possible if half the world believes in one deity? Is the other half of the world all doomed? That just didn't make sense to me. And most of the people I'm coming across who believe, right. And just by like, yeah, you came here, you weren't even told, weren't even told about this religion. Now all of a sudden you got to spend an eternity in some type of purgatory because you never knew about a specific religion. And that just didn't make sense to me. Again, going back to what my aunt said, it'll never make sense to you because you have too many questions. So I was kind of, and again, I wasn't a full blown standing on the corner yelling at people type of guy. Like, I just kind of was entertaining some of the truth that they were giving in the Bible. So that a friend of mine who I'm still close with today, he was kind of on the same journey as me. So he would be the person I would talk to about the things that I was discovering, whatever. And he said, and then, so and one day he came to me, he said, Corey, when you really, he said he had already moved to the next phase. Now, this is the thing. I don't believe people should stick in one thing. I think you should keep evolving, keep learning, keep evolving, and let the route take you where it's going to take you, right? I don't believe OBEs are a church or a religion. It's really just opening you up to the truth of what's on the other side. Now, where you go from that with it is up to you. And I don't believe anybody is an authority. Me and Darius have a personal relationship. I can talk to him anytime I want, but I don't look at him as a savior. I look at him as a teacher. He taught us something. Now we can take that and go to the level we want to go with it, right? And we talk and we have those conversations. I wouldn't say he's a friend or a best friend or anything, but I've been privy to have conversation with him offline. And I'm not saying other people don't, I'm just saying I have. So with that being said, I don't believe in turning any of this into a religion. I believe it's just the natural evolution of our souls as we begin to ascend to the higher frequencies that we literally come from. We come from a higher frequency. We've been compressed to a lower frequency to be here. And now some of us are starting to understand that and break free and get that freedom back and ascend to higher frequencies. And so That's not what I believe. That's what I know, because that's what I've seen and that's what I'm experiencing. So anyway, my friend tells me the next thing that you encounter is going to really change your life, and that's all I'm gonna say, because he had already kind of went past the Hebrew Israelite stuff, and then come to find out, all of this stuff, every holy book ever written, is literally copies of Sumerian text that's like 6,000 years old. So the flood story, the creation of man story, these are all in text that's way older than the Bible, and they give you way more clarity on what it is. So now I'm finding out that the God of the Bible, Yahweh or whatever you call him, is actually Anunnaki being that came here, met our ancestors, told them that they was God. And clearly, if somebody come in a spaceship down, you talking about the beginning of mankind, somebody come down in a spaceship and they got a technology that you never seen before, you think they're God. The same way when the English first came to America and they found all these natives here, the natives thought that they were deities because they had weaponry that they didn't have. So they had technology they didn't have. So technology ends up being the front runner for whatever God there is. So I started digging in that text, and now I'm starting to hear these stories, and I'm like, wait, that's the flood story. Wait, that's the Adam and Eve story. Wait, we didn't just get built out of some dust out of the earth. We were genetically engineered to be slaves, basically. We were genetically engineered to be helpers for them, to mine gold for them. Now, this is the part where, if you believe that or not, that's not my problem. But I'm a question asker. So once I'm reading this stuff, and then I came across the OBE experience, and I get to have these conversations with Darius. I asked him about it. I said, hey, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to ask, like, so did you find a connection between these texts, the Sumerian text, and out-of-body experiences?
That's where I was going. That's exactly where I was going. So I asked questions. Like I said, I'd had probably my first couple of out-of-body experiences, but never nothing where I was able to see a lot. It's like that first couple, it's like learning how to walk. When you first learn how to walk, you're going to stumble, you're going to fall a couple times. So it wasn't big experience. It was real small stuff. So like what you saw in my first
first video,
testimony. My first testimony with Darius, right? So it was simple. It was quick. It probably lasted, in my mind, it lasted 5 minutes, but I was asleep for 30 minutes. So like, it was like, whoa, what was that? So I asked him, because I said, hey, I just got to ask you, is that Anunnaki stuff real? Because I've read this in text that's older than every religious text, and it makes more sense than the religious text. And he said, absolutely, that was a period of time that existed, that happened, blah, blah, blah. So he told me that. So he confirmed something I was thinking. So at that point I knew, like, okay, I need to stick with this out-of-body stuff, because that's going to give me the answers that I need. Everybody, I feel like at some point in their life, you start to realize that this is not all there is to it. And this is why people follow religions, because the hope for the by and by. If you knew there wasn't a hell, then most people wouldn't be religious, because most people are religious to avoid going to hell. That's basically what it is. Like, it's not a true love of anything, because they don't love people the way they should. So it's really, I need to attach myself to this religion to avoid eternal damnation. Well, what I found in my out-of-body travels is hell only exists if you believe that exists. And if you don't believe that exists, it ain't no such thing as that. I've never experienced any of that. My sister had a near-death experience where she died on an operating table, and she technically died in her sin, according to what religion says, because why she was on the operating table in the first place. And she told me she didn't go to hell. She didn't experience none of that. She went to a life review. It was she met Jesus, so to speak. And the Jesus we think that we know is not the same Jesus there is. So She met that being and told her certain things and then gave her the opportunity to come back. And so she said, no, I'm coming back because I don't want my mother to be upset. My mother, she said specifically, my mother wouldn't be able to go on if I didn't go back. So, so she was a lot.
Wow, so your sister has also explored and
well, she isn't exploring
wow.
the out of body yet. I don't think she's really ready for that.
Okay.
But she's had a near death experience. Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Wow.
So that's how I always knew this stuff was real. Like even as a youngster, I experienced sleep paralysis. Like around in my teenage years, I had seen shadow beings in my room. So I've experienced a lot of this other side of the veil type of stuff in my youth. But it wasn't until, a year and a half ago when I found Darius that I said, oh, I can actually command this and control it and do and be a part and see what's on the other side at my own command, so to speak. So then, like I said, my mother passed in 2011. My best friend passed in like 2022, I think it was. It was 21 or 22. So it was only like a few years ago. But that really hit home. Like a parent passes, you kind of know they're older. And we kind of knew she had cancer. We kind of knew that was coming. My friend was totally unexpected. This is my best friend. I made a video about him. I actually saw him on the other side. So I actually got a I got a video on that in my videos, and I actually got a chance to see him on the other side and an out of body experience. So, and I'll obviously talk about that if you want to get into it. But he passed away kind of abruptly, and when when a friend passes away, it's different because now you start looking at your own mortality. It's like, wait a minute, we're around the same age. People around me souls around me are starting to leave the construct, are deciding to leave. What's going on? So that's what really had me digging, like past the religion, past the Anunnaki stuff. I was like, what happened to my mom? What happened to my friend? And so I started watching NDE videos on YouTube. There's a channel called, I believe it's called The Other Side or something like that. But it's basically a channel where people talk about their near-death experiences. And I'll probably watch 40 videos. And before now, I was very logical and, systematic about my approach to research. I need to know. And so part of my approach is finding inconsistencies in stories. So I watched all these NDE videos to see if there was inconsistency. If everybody's saying different stuff, then I don't know. Like, that could be anything. But if everybody's saying the same thing, everybody can't be lying, right? Everybody can't be telling a lie if everybody's saying the same thing. If everybody having virtually the same experience, everybody can't be lying about the same experience. I just don't see how that will work. People who don't know each other are lying about the same experience. That just never made sense. So I watched these NDE videos to find inconsistencies. One thing I did find it was very consistent was a life review. So everybody has a life review. Most of the videos I saw, they didn't talk about being sent to a place, heaven or hell, and even the ones that talked about hell, it kind of talked about it as more of an observation, not something they were trapped in and couldn't leave. So I'm watching all these videos and they all pretty consistent with the life review and coming through the tunnel, life review, getting to experience what they have done good and what they have done bad on the earth, and they have to experience from the point of view of the other person. That's very consistent. So I'll probably say after about 40 videos I watched, I came across Darius on this channel. So I seen him, I said, okay, well, let's see what he's talking about. And the first thing he said, which totally was like, oh, okay, it's different. He said, I didn't have a near-death experience. I practice out-of-body experiences. And I was like, wait, what? And then he gets into what he does. And he's like, oh, yeah, you can put yourself in sleep paralysis, lower the heart rate, and then you can intentionally exit, your soul can intentionally exit your body in full consciousness. And I was
And was
like,
that the first time that you connected the dots on the sleep paralysis that you had as a young child?
oh no, that wasn't the first time. I'll tell. On
Okay.
the first time was after I had my first experience. Then I
Okay.
said, oh wow, all of these were connected to that. These were this. And so it wasn't until because again, I don't believe in idolization or idolizing people. So when I've seen Darius' video, I didn't like say, "Oh, he's the answer." I just said, "Well, let me listen to more of his videos because I want to see what he's talking about." So again, even with what he's saying, it didn't resonate until I had experienced it myself. And this is what I tell people all the time who watch my videos. If you watch my videos and you get something from it, great. I'm telling what my experiences are. I'm not here to define for you what reality is. You have to find that out for yourself. Like if you're looking through videos of trying to find that these type of truths, you're not going to find them. Like because you're going to always feel like maybe this is wrong or maybe it's right, maybe it's wrong, maybe it's right, instead of experiencing it for yourself. And now you know it's not a belief thing anymore. It's not about believing something is true. You know something is true, right? So I watched his video and then I started watching more of his videos. And then he talked about the method and then he took, I went to his website and I'm like, oh, okay, you got to pay for this. And I'm like, oh shoot. I was like, well, I don't know. And then I said, all right, cool, let me do it. And I scraped up some pennies. Like I wasn't rich or nothing. I like had to sacrifice buying some other stuff that wasn't to me. The stuff that I had to sacrifice to me didn't feel like it was more valuable than this could possibly be. And again, this is before I even had an experience. I was saying in my head, this could possibly be the most valuable thing I've ever spent my money on in my life. And indeed it was. So I scraped up my money, paid for like the first part of it just so I could learn the method. And I feel like I practiced for about 6-7 weeks and with nothing. I'm talking about nothing happening. So when I get people in the comments saying, hey, I've been practicing, nothing's happening, I know your pain. I was there. I'm talking about frustrated, like pissed because you're losing sleep. You expecting it to be one way because you've never experienced it before. You have an expectation that it'll go this way from the stories you heard from Darius, and then it's not going that way. So you're like, wait, did I just get hustled out of my money? Did I just throw away my money? That type of stuff hit my mind. And
which method were you specifically trying?
the AIDA method, just putting yourself.
Sorry, which protocol? Sorry, which protocol?
The first one, the first one. So basically, laying down. Oh, 90 minutes of listening to these binaural beats in my ear, buzzing my eardrums, and like sitting there trying to be still and trying to like allow myself to go to sleep paralysis. And a couple things happened during that 7-week process that let me know I was on the right path, but it still was frustrating because I wasn't actually having the experience. And so like one time I felt my soul kind of sink into the bed, like my butt felt like it was touching the floor, but I was in my bed. So I was like, yeah, that's weird. Like why? And then one time my feet lifted up like this, but I was totally still. My
just your
soul,
feet.
my legs did like this, and I got scared to death, and I snapped too, because it scared the shit out of me. Excuse my language, but it scared me to like. Again, you think you're ready for whatever is going to happen until it happens, and then you're like, wait, what? Like, I remember one time I was doing it during that 7-week period, and my daughter came in my room and like scraped my foot as she was running by. I didn't know that was her. So I thought it was a being, and I freaked me out. Like I'm like, oh shoot, I'm not ready for this. I ain't ready for this, because my biggest thing was the overcoming the fear of a being being there. And as Darius says, no soul can harm another soul unless that soul believes it to be so. So I wasn't even prepared to go to the other side because I would have been believing stuff to be so that ain't really so, and I might have had a horrible experience. So I really attribute it to perfect timing. Like, when you're ready, that's when it's going to happen, right? And you need to be ready to accept it and be able to analyze it and not be in fear about it. Because some people, he talked about a friend of his who had one experience. As soon as he came out, he saw a being and he woke back up and he tried again for a year. I didn't want to be that. Like, I didn't want to be so full of fear that I don't want to try again. So I took it easy. It was getting frustrating. And then I remember one time my wife, I was talking to my wife about it, and she was telling me, she was saying, well, you need to relax. Like, you cannot, basically the way she said it was, you cannot experience a higher frequency things if you're in a lower frequency. And she said that to me. I don't know who told her to say that to me, but because my wife ain't into OBs or none of that, she is definitely not gonna try it. She too scared to see a being and go crazy. Like, she's like, oh no, I'm stay away from that for now. But she allows me to explore, so that's why it works. Because honestly, this is so important. If she didn't allow me to explore, we probably wouldn't be together. Like, that's how important this is to me.
So, a couple of questions actually, just related to that.
Yeah, go
So,
ahead.
one, so in those initial 7 weeks, how many times were you trying? Were you trying it every night, every other
almost
night?
every night, every other
Almost
night
every
at
night.
the least, every other night at the least.
Okay.
And that's why
So
it was
a
so
lot
frustrating, because it's like, wait, I'm really trying to make this happen, and nothing is happening.
is happening.
Nothing that I think is supposed to happen is happening. I should say that.
Yeah. And then the second question, obviously with your partner, and you've just said, like, you've got an amazing partner who is allowing you to explore this. How did you broach this with her? Like,
Oh, I just told
obviously,
her straight up.
you know,
I told her straight up, like, hey, I think I found something else. Because again, all these transitions from religion to the Israelites to the Anunnaki stuff, she was there the whole way. And she was like listening and like, yeah, that do make sense. Like, oh wow, okay. Now this, so she's moving in a direction with me. I'm just a little bit further ahead of her in terms of the
okay.
OBE stuff. So we run in the same race, but I'm like here. So
Yeah.
it at some point she's gonna feel more comfortable in trying to do it herself.
Okay.
I'm sure of it. But I don't push it on her. I let her come to her. Again, every soul needs to come to this at their own time. Like, I knew I needed this to break away from strongholds. But my wife didn't grow up in religion either, so she don't have the same strongholds
Okay.
that I had. So I needed it to break away. She necessarily didn't. So when it's time, she'll go explore. Yeah.
Okay. So brilliant. So, okay, 7 weeks, nothing was happening. You were getting like little glimpses.
Yeah.
When
Little
did it
stuff.
all, when did it all flip?
Like I said in the testimonial, man, it was one morning. It was probably about 6 a.m. And I was trying the method all night, and it didn't work, but I was tired. So it was probably about, I woke up at probably like 5:30 or something, went to use the bathroom, and then came back and got in the bed and just kind of like laid there, whatever. I fell asleep. So it wasn't even my first experience wasn't even like the traditional experience that Darius talks about, where you knowingly turn around and see your body and all that stuff. That didn't happen on my first one. I actually never wanted to see my body because I was too full of fear. So my intentions were always to go straight outside. I used to set my intention and go straight outside. I don't want to walk around the house. I don't want to see a being that's going to freak me out. I just want to go straight outside. And so I fell asleep, or what I thought was sleep. And when I opened my eyes again, and when I say it happened split like that, like I fell asleep and the next thing I know, my eyes were open. I was outside in my front yard. And it's the same front yard that I had at that time. Like, I knew I was outside. Like, I physically felt outside. I could see it. I could feel the breeze, everything. I was outside. And so the only thing different was I wasn't touching the ground. I looked down and I could see that I was hovering about 2 feet over the ground. And so I kind of hovered past my car that was in the driveway and went into the middle of the street. So in the middle of the street, I'm looking down my street. So my house is on the right of me, and I'm looking down my street. And I just started floating down the street. So the houses in front of me are getting bigger. I'm not looking behind me, but I know I'm moving forward because I'm seeing the houses get bigger. And it's this bright light that was so bright. There's no way it's supposed to be this bright at 6 a.m. Where I lived at the time, I was living in Florida, And where I lived at 6 a.m., it's still kind of like, at that time of year, it's still kind of, it's spring, so it's still not totally bright in the morning. So I knew that light, that brightness wasn't natural, because it was bright like it was the middle of the day, sun right over your head type of brightness. But I wasn't squinting in the sense that like the brightness was overcoming my eyes. This is how I knew, oh yeah, I'm in my soul body, because it was so bright, but I could see the full color spectrum. Like I could see the light, and it wasn't bothering me at all. And if you go outside on a hot day and it's sunny outside, you need sunglasses, right? Because it's bright outside. Yeah. I didn't need any of that. And so then I kind of turned around, and now I'm floating backwards. So I'm watching my house get smaller and smaller and smaller. And I look up in the sky because I'm like, why is it so bright? I'm literally hearing this audibly. So this is how I know, like, on the other side, we speak in telepathy, like with telepathy. So we don't talk like with our mouth. Our thoughts generate voice. On the other side, everything is manifested instantly. So what I think is manifested in the sound instantly. So I'll hear myself talking, like I'm listening to myself say, like, wow, why is it so bright? I know my mouth isn't moving, but I'm hearing these words. And so I look up in the sky to find out where the sun is, because I'm like, the sun got to be right over me. I'm looking up and there's no sun. So I don't see any type of sun, no ball in the air, none of that. It's just bright. I talked to somebody else about this, another traveler, and they said it could have been the light that you were resonating. And I was like, dang, I didn't even think about that. But there was no guide there, so I didn't get to ask questions or nothing. It was just a real brief experience. So I looked up in the sky and I was like, what the fuck? Excuse my language, but that's what I see. Like, literally, that's what I see. And this is when I was like, well, it can't be this whole goody two-shoe thing after you die and go to heaven, because I'm cussing. Like, you know, I'm saying curse words. So clearly you the same, like, you can say whatever. These words are going to be determining factors of your eternal state. So I said that, and immediately after I said that, I woke up in my body. So I woke up, and I did one of these numbers. I woke up and I was like, what? Like, what was that? And so my wife was in the bathroom the whole time I was having that experience. She came in, she said, are you okay? And this was my confirmation that clearly something happened. So she said, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, what do you mean? You know, what do you mean, am I okay? She said, you made this sound like you was coming up for air, like you was coming back from the dead. And I was like, what? And I was like, oh, that's it. I said, then that's it. And I knew in that moment, I said, oh, that's it. I had it. It happened. So my first experience wasn't conventional in the sense that I came out, looked at myself sleep. Now I have had that experience too, but that first one was just, I think it was the way I needed to have my first one so that I wouldn't be freaked out and not want to have another one. So it was. And then
from that point forward, did you start to have them more regularly? Was there almost like, it was almost like your brain, your neurons?
Okay. So no, great question. And no, I still had to work. So my next one came a few weeks later, like a couple weeks later. My next one came a few weeks after that. I've had a total of maybe 6 different experiences over the past year. And then there was a time where I just wasn't practicing because I was like, I just did a video about this. My latest video I just did about this. There was a period of time where I didn't want to be here. Like I was like, yeah, this place is trash. I want to get out. I want to go back to there.
Wow.
Because when you first come out of your body, your soul is now your consciousness. Because your soul comes out every night. This is happening to you every night you go to sleep. Your soul doesn't sleep. It doesn't need sleep. It doesn't need food. It doesn't need any of that. So every night when you go into sleep paralysis, your soul leaves its body and has its experiences. Sometimes you get to see those in dreams where your soul will go into a dimensional space and you get to experience a dream. That was one my most latest thing was a lucid dream, but then I gained control in the dream. So that's on my latest video. So I've had different types of experience. Some has been out of body, some has been lucid dreaming where I gain control within the lucid dream. And I'm like, okay, I know I'm dreaming. I can move here, I can move there, I can do what I want. But on the other side, you have total control of everything because you are God in the flesh. Like you are the source, experiencing life as you, experiencing life as me. What better way to have multiple experiences at one time than to be experiencing realm one through 9 billion people, right? What better way? Like, what better way to get every experience that can be received than to be experiencing all through 9 billion different lives, right? And counting. So, I gained that understanding as I started having more frequent OBEs. I'm like, but in the beginning, it was like, yo, this place is trash. I don't want to be here. Like, literally, I'm looking at my kids and I'm like, they're not really my kids. They're souls that I was in charge to bring here, but they're souls. We already agreed that you would be my daughter or my son before I ever was born. We made these pact to have this experience together. So you start looking at things, and I don't want it to sound depressing. It's not really. It's just a level I had to go through and overcome, because that first time your soul starts to leave its body and you're aware of it and you're conscious in these different, like I've been to the halls of Amenti, and like you go to the halls of Amenti, when you come back, it's hard to go to work. Like it's hard to sit up there and go to work when you've been to the halls of Amenti. Like, you know, when you've flew through a star and ended up in realm 2, and you looking around, you're like, wait, what the hell just happened? Like, it's hard to come back here and pay bills.
And how long was that period for you? That period of like, I don't.
It was probably like a month. It was probably like a month. It was a month's time where I just was like, I'm not even gonna practice no more, because now I'm starting to not want to be here. And if I get and I knew if I had received the opportunity to stay, I probably would have stayed.
Really?
Oh yeah. During that period, if a being would have came to me and said, hey, you want to stay, you can, I'm almost 90% sure I would have stayed. And that scared me, because now you're leaving behind kids. And listen, you die. Like, when you accept that, hey, I'm going to stay, when they wake up in the morning, your body going to be laying there lifeless. And I thought about that. Like, how is that going to change their experience on earth if they see their father lifeless? And I just couldn't do it. Like, that was the point at which, and I actually even talked to Darius about that. I was like, yo, I'm feeling crazy right now, and I need to talk to somebody. And I want to talk to somebody who's had the most experience in it as possible, so I get the right words that I need to hear. So I talked to him. He said it's totally normal for that to be happening. He said, but you're not going to stay over there, because you know what your purpose is here. Your soul knows what you're supposed to be doing here, what your mission is here. And he said, you'll actually be disappointing souls on the other side if you don't complete that mission. And when he said that to me, that changed everything. And I started back practicing again. So I was like, okay, all right, cool. So now I know I'm not tripping. I'm not crazy. It's a normal experience. But that's when I decided to make a YouTube channel, because I was like, okay, I have a purpose. I want to at least share what I'm experiencing, and whoever resonates with it, great. If you don't, I don't care. Like, I'm not looking for approval or agreement or anything like that. I'm just sharing, and people who can understand what I'm sharing, great. Those who have ears, let them hear, that type of deal.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so it was after that conversation with Darius, like, I called him on the phone. Like, I was like, yo, I called him on Telegram. I was like, yo, I need to talk to you, like, because I'm tripping. And he was like, that's normal. And he kind of broke down to me, like, what I should be experiencing and how important what we're doing here with the great work is, and why. He's like, I was offered. He told me, he's like, I was offered. And he said that in videos, but he told me, he's like, I was offered multiple times to stay. But then I felt the pain of what it would feel like if I'm not there to complete my mission. And I was like, damn, okay, got you. Perfectly. That's all I needed to know, that I'm not going crazy, that, you know, I'm not becoming suicidal or anything like that. I'm okay. Like, it's nothing. I'm not in that realm. That's not what this is about. It's just your soul. You have consciously experienced what the other side is. So your soul doesn't want to go back to pretending in a realm that we know is fake. We know, like, once you've had the experience, you know all of this is fake. You know all of this does not exist after you die. Like, it's just a construct. It's a video game. We get to play it for a few years and then we leave. And like, I play video games here in round one. Once I leave the video game, I don't think about what's going on in the video game. I'm on to doing whatever else I do in life. So that's the same thing here. Once you leave here, like once my mom left here, she ain't worried about what's going on Earth. Like, she knows what's going on Earth because on the other side, you know all things. You are God in soul form. Like, you are that presence. So that moment is when I knew, like, okay, cool. Let me transition this into having experiences and documenting them, and it's kind of talking about my perspective on my experiences too. Like, I don't always make videos on my experience. Sometimes I'm not having any, but I'm getting downloads about what that experience meant to me or how it's changed me and stuff like that.
Yeah. I was going to say, so actually, you mentioned before that you've had a few experiences now, I think 6 or 7 or so. What have you noticed post having those experiences in this experience? How have they changed this experience? Apart from obviously your view of it in that, but have you noticed any changes? Have you noticed anything?
Yeah.
Intuition or anything a little bit different?
I've come to the understanding that in order to manifest what you want in round one, your emotions, not your thoughts. Your thoughts are just kind of the precursor. Like, you think you want a different life here on round one. The Secret, you remember that book, The Secret, the video, The Secret, that was big for a time. Well, it only kind of explains part of it, which is why people call it a fraud or kind of say it failed them or it didn't, because it's not just thinking what you want your life to be in realm one. Your emotions have to match the frequency of what life would look like if you had everything you wanted in realm one. So if I want to be rich, it's not about being rich. It's about how would I feel if I was rich? And how do I get myself to that frequency right now while I'm not rich? Because once I get to that frequency, everything in the universe has to align with that frequency. So, and I'm just using rich for an example because I don't think money is really anything. Money don't exist. It's not even a thing. It's like, it's a system of control, really, actually, is what it is. Now, and we all bound under it because we got bills. We paying for stuff we shouldn't be paying for. Nobody should have to pay to live in a realm that they were born into. Like, period. You shouldn't have to pay for a home. You shouldn't have to pay for food. You shouldn't have to pay for anything because you were born here. You didn't ask, like, you were born here. You were brought here to have this experience. You shouldn't have to pay for the experience. That's how I feel. That's just personally how I feel. So I don't believe money exists. I believe there will come a time where money doesn't exist and money isn't the trap that it is today. But for the sake of this conversation, if money is your thing right now because you want an easier life, then you need to start having an easier life before you get money. Meaning, if money would bring you peace, then you need to already be peaceful now. And so it just helped me learn to align myself with what I really want emotionally. I want peace. I want calm. I never want to be too high or too low. I want to be right here, right?
Yeah.
And so that even helped me with my OBEs. I started getting frustrated. Well, now I'm too low with my energy about it. Let me just relax. So now when I do put myself in sleep paralysis, I'm calm. I'm like, whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Whatever my experience is going to be. This is a gateway. This is a gateway to an experience. I'm not going to force it. I'm not going to be mad if it don't happen. Like, I tried the other night and I just fell asleep. Okay, it happens. Like, okay, like, technically you came here to forget part of the agreement of coming here was forgetting the other side. So I don't expect it to be easy to remember the other side here because that's the reason I came here. Part of the agreement of coming here was to forget. So I don't expect it to be easy. I don't expect it to happen every single time. And it'll come to a point where it does. But it's a practice. Just like anything else, the more you practice it and you go through the protocols, the more experience you got with it, the more you know, like little stuff. My experience where I went when I went to Realm 2 and I met the 4 Lyran beings. So I met 4 Lyrans, yeah, with the lion head and the hand body. Yeah. So I met 4 of those. It's on my video, the picture of his 4 white lion beings. And I told them to move. And they moved. Like, cause I thought they were trying to stop me from going to where my intention was to go outside of the construct. And so I thought they were trying to stop me from doing that. So I said, hey, move. And they just moved out the way. So I figured out, like, yo, I have control. Like, I have control, ultimate control. Nobody can stop me from doing anything I want, like, on that side. Which is part of the reason why I enjoy being on that side so much. Because nothing can stop you from doing what you want to do. The only thing you cannot do on the other side is harm another soul. And you can do that. Actually, technically you can if that soul believes it to be true. But most souls on the other side know that. So why would they believe they can be harmed? They wouldn't do that. So the only thing you can't do is harm another soul. Everything else you can do. I've flown, I've teleported, practiced telepathy. It's physical. I hugged my best friend. Like, I hugged him.
Tell us about that experience. So,
Man. Again, this is around the time he had just passed. Probably it's been a year, not even a year. It's probably been maybe 6-7 months since he passed. That's when I found Darius. Probably about 6-7 months after he passed. So yeah, so this was 2002. This was 2003. Yeah, so I think he passed in 2000. It was 2002, 2003. So it might either been 6 months or a year and 6 months after this. But either
2023, you mean?
Yeah, 2023. Yeah. So I think it was 2022 or 2023. But anyway, so this was probably my 3rd experience, out-of-body experience. So I had put myself in sleep paralysis, and I said the intention I either want to see my mom or want to see my friend. Like I said those intentions.
When you said you put yourself in sleep paralysis, so this is still following protocol.
Yeah. I've never done this knowingly. Now I did do it when I was taken outside of the construct. This was years before I knew Darius, but I didn't know what was happening. I kind of just was an observer watching what this looked like. And I'll talk about that experience as well, if you want to. But, so I set my intention. Put myself in sleep paralysis using the ADA method, protocol 1. And I set my intentions. I want to see my friend or I want to see my mom. And I said, if they're my spirit guides, show them to me. I want to see them. That's what my intentions were. It wasn't to go anywhere. It was to see either one of them. So when I opened my eyes, I was in the desert. And it was weird. Excuse me. So I was in the desert.
And sorry to interrupt you, but just when you said it opened your eyes,
my soul eyes.
Take us through the process. So you felt the sleep paralysis.
I felt the sleep paralysis. I did, again, this was a time, like I said, sometimes, it's only been twice I've actually looked back and seen my body. All the other times I just appeared places. When I went to the halls of Amenti, I appeared in my dad's house, and then I commanded to go to the halls of Amenti, and then I appeared there. So, but this time, I would put myself in sleep paralysis, and as soon as I started losing consciousness, my eyes opened up, my soul eyes opened up. And I said, okay. And I was in this desert, like Arizona, it looked like. And there was nothing around other than a convenience store. Like a convenience. And it's crazy. It was like a convenience store. And it makes a sense. I laugh at it now. It makes all the sense of the world because me and my friend at the time lived in Atlanta. And we would always go to the Quick Trip convenience store. That's where we would go all the time, get something to drink, get some, something to eat, whatever. So he's in this convenience store and it's glass sliding doors, just like a convenience store, modern convenience store. And it was very modern. And I was in the middle of this desert and there's literally nothing around. It's a parking lot with no cars. It's nothing around. It's just this convenience store in the middle of a desert. So I walked to the sliding doors and you can't see in the store because it's like reflecting what's behind me. So it's kind of like a mirror. And so the glass will slide open and he's standing right there in front of me. Standing right there, like clear as day. And I know it's him. I know it's him because I break down crying. Like I literally bawling, tears in my eyes. I woke up from that experience crying. It was tears running down my face in my physical body from that experience. This is how I knew that's what was that was real. And so I see him, I burst into, I just run up to him and give him a hug, and it's as physical as if I hugged you. It was super physical. It felt like we were embracing, and in that moment we didn't even talk. Like it wasn't even really words exchanged. It was just frequency, energy exchange, and he just gave me this calming energy as to say, I'm fine. Like I'm good. I'm good. I'm in a good place. And he hugged me, and then we let go of each other. He walked out of the store. He just walked out, and I just watched him walk out. And then I walked around the store a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." And then I woke up. But this is all to say this. Like this is why I tell people don't get upset about how long because I was getting upset because I was like, why are these things lasting longer than this little bit of time? I even asked Darius about it. I was like, yo, is there any way I can control this to make it last longer? He said, no, there's nothing you can do with that. And I was like, I bet. But that experience, and I'm still trying to access my mom. So I don't know if maybe she's back here in a different soul, in a different body. She passed before my daughter was born. She could actually be my daughter right now. I don't know. Like, I have no idea. So I'm still trying to access her even to this day. But I did access him, and it was like one of the coolest experiences because I went and told his sisters what had happened because they was really having a rough time with it. And I went and told him, I said, he fine. Yeah. I saw him. I saw him. I experienced it. I gave him a hug, and he told me everything. He assured me everything was good to go. We was fine. And so it was just really cool to be able to have that experience because, people die, souls leave the construct or realm one or whatever, and you don't really know what happened to them. All you got is stories based on religion of where they could have went, and it's kind of crazy to find out they didn't go anywhere. They're everywhere, and they can be anywhere. This is why when I say ye are gods, and the Bible even says that in Psalms, and Jesus even doubled down on it. I believe in John or Luke where he says, doesn't your law say that ye are gods? Well, it's because he understood. Jesus basically the same as you and I. He just comes from a different line. 13 souls helped build this construct. We all come from the line of one of those 13. He comes from the line of the 13th soul, the 13th soul to help build a construct. Reason why Jesus talked the way he talked is because most people don't understand that he, at age 12, 13, he went to Egypt. And his parents took him into Egypt. And during that time, he went to the Egyptian mystery schools. This is all written in the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus Christ. And a lot of the Gnostic texts, people like to throw it away because it doesn't align with the control story of Christianity. So he went to Egypt. He learned Reiki healing in Tibet, in India. He learned about reincarnation. He learned all of these things that he came back and gave to Jerusalem when he came back. I believe he also had out-of-body experiences, and he was shown the history of the earth, which is why he knew who the people was talking to them, and he could say, oh, you a demon, or you an evil person, because I know what you do, or I know. This is like the lady who came to the thing, lady who came to the well. He said, I know you got 5 husbands right now that aren't your husband. I know that because he been in an out-of-body state, so he know all these things. It wasn't because he was God in the flesh, a singular God in the flesh. It was because he was tapping into source in out-of-body state, which we all can do, and we can all receive these same downloads, which is exactly why in the Bible he also said, these works and greater shall ye do, which he was telling his disciples and whoever follows him. Basically, he was telling you, like, you can do the same thing and greater the higher you go up in your ascension process. But people are I call it religifying stuff, and they made it a religion, and now we kill people over it, or, we got people fighting wars over it and all that stuff. But ultimately, it was never about any of that. It was only about him having access to the other side while he was here on earth, the same way we do, and him coming back teaching the same things we're teaching. I did a video on this earlier, a few weeks ago, about how these experiences should change you here and how they should make you a better person here. You don't have out of body experience just so you can go on the other side and see some cool stuff and brag about all the stuff you've seen. It should make you come here and have less judgment for people, because you realize that no soul is going to heaven or hell. There's no judgment on the other side. Yeah. There cannot be unconditional love where there's a judgment. So either God doesn't love unconditionally or there's no judgment. You cannot have love based on conditions and have unconditional love. That doesn't work. So,
and is that how you feel? Do you feel like you've been changed for the better?
Absolutely,
in that sense,
absolutely. I don't judge people. It was things that I used to didn't like societal things, or I was very conservative, or I'm very this or that, and I realized like even the worst person on earth is only here doing what they're supposed to do within this experience. The problem is they're doing it so far outside of love that they've become quote unquote evil. On the other side, there is no such thing as evil. There's no that bipolar, the good, evil, none of that exists on the other side. Everything is pure and it's just love. So there is no evil on the other side because nobody believes that there's evil, right? Because why would you, right? And you can't hurt anybody. So the only thing that is evil is things that are done to people or done to souls. And on the other side, you can't do anything to another soul, so you can't be evil. And what I also understood was if you've been here in realm one more than once, you wasn't always the good guy. You wasn't all. So that's another reason why I don't pass judgment. I know people who've had experiences who found out about their past lives and they were very bad people in their past lives. And so when you hear that, you start looking at it like, well, shit, maybe I was too. Maybe I was the worst thing you could think of on this in your life right now. Maybe you was that 2 or 3 lives ago in that time. So it just gave me that clarity to not be judgmental, to not be so moralistic in the sense that I know what's right and wrong, because you don't. Right and wrong don't even exist on the other side. So there's no, that dichotomy doesn't exist. It just made me a more understanding individual. I'm still human now. I'm still here in this experience. So I'm still struggle with human characteristics and flaws. But also too, it helped me understand that I'm only experiencing this from my 5 senses. So I don't take all of it. I take it all with a grain of salt because I'm only experiencing 5 senses worth of an experience. I only got 2 strands of DNA. Like I should have 12. Like, you know what I'm saying? The original human, the original Adam was 12-strand DNA. We only got 2. They took our DNA out of us, the beings that engineered us or re-engineered us, dumbed us down because they want us to be workers. Like we're so, even in our fleshly form, we're so much greater. So because I know that, like, I don't get frustrated as much. I understand that what I'm looking at is only a figment of realm 1. And at some point I won't even be experiencing it.
Did you mention as well that you get downloads as well? That's something that you've received since. Okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So like once you've opened your soul up to the other side, sometimes you can just be meditating, because I meditate pretty frequently, and sometimes I'll just receive voices that tell my soul will talk to me and tell me like, this is what this means, or this is where that came from. Now, people will be like, oh, you crazy, you talking to yourself. But no, that's your soul talking. And the problem with a lot of us is that we don't listen to our soul. We don't trust that our soul is separate from our physical. That makes sense. Like most people view all of this as one thing, and it's not. It's really we in a suit. We're in a suit. Our true self is locked in this suit for X amount of years. You only leave the suit at night when the suit is in sleep paralysis. You leave the suit, but then when you come back, you don't get to bring none of it back because you didn't go consciously. So now we're learning how to go consciously so we can bring this stuff back. So now when we come back into our body, our soul can download information that is received on the other side back to us, even if we haven't had an OBE. So again, your soul is coming out every night. But now because I'm more open to the OBE experience because I've had them, my soul, when it comes back, it's bringing back some of the stuff that I before unconsciously would have never got, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I could be meditating and I can hear my soul tell me like, you need to relax here, or you need to do this, or you need to do that. And I learned to start trusting my soul and stop second guessing. And second guessing my experiences, because I'll tell you that's another thing people will go through when they've had OBEs is they start second guessing. Was that real? Did I experience that seriously? Was that a dream? Was it this, that, and other? At some point, you got to trust what you're seeing with your soul eyes, because it's not your natural eyes. And you got to understand that clearly your natural eyes are asleep, are closed. Like your body is in sleep paralysis. It's dead. Your body is basically a hair away from death every time you do it. That's why it feels like you're dying when you're putting yourself in sleep paralysis, because you're literally a hair away from it. But you're not going to die because you're in control.
Yeah. And do you think, so, yeah, I remember hearing, I think in one of the videos that you did with Darius, that you were really scared of like encounters with beings. You talked just before about the 9 beings. Have you encountered any in your room or in your house?
Oh yeah. So I'd made a video on that too. So the video that says I finally did it, because this was the first time I actually turned around and see myself sleep. That's not true. Let me stop saying that, because it was the first time I seen myself outside my body immediately. So like come out of my body, turn around and see myself. When I went to the halls, I saw myself sleeping when I came back to my body. So I was in the halls.
You came back.
Yeah, no. So when I was in the halls, and I guess my experience was ending, or I was coming out of sleep paralysis, so I could see in the distance, and it was dark, and there was like a circle around my body, sleep on the couch, and I could see it, and I was looking at it, and I was like, oh shoot, and I was zooming into it and then when I zoomed into it, I came back into my body and woke up. So that was the first time I seen my body outside of my body. But the first time I ever came out and turned around and looked at my body was that night. So I was doing the method, ADA method, protocol 1, and my soul, I was doing it on the couch. So one thing I found that most of my experiences happen when I'm on my couch, because sleeping in the bed with somebody, if they move or they snoring or something, if you hear it, it'll mess you up. So I tell my wife, like on the weekends when I'm really, because now most of the time when I'm trying to travel, it's mostly on the weekends. So I was like, cool. On the weekend, Friday night, Saturday night, or Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, even if I feel, I'll say, well, I'm going to sleep, a couple of those nights, I'm going to sleep on the couch, just so I can try to really have the experience. And I don't know if I should share this or not. I will. I know the couch is my best experience because Darius visited my house while I was on the couch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I never really talked about this. This was something in a group. I didn't know if it was something I should be talking about, but to me, it wasn't a bad thing. So we were in a group, and we were in a concentrated group where we were targeting different things. So it was about I don't know, 20 of us in a Telegram group, and he invited me to the Telegram group, and I was like, cool. So we were targeting things, and this was the night we were targeting the halls of Amenti. So he put a diagram that he drew of somebody's house, and he put it in the chat. He said, whose house is this? And nobody answered, and I didn't see it till later in the day, and nobody had answered. And I looked, I said, yo, that's my house. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, that's my couch. That's me sleeping on the couch last night when I went to the halls of Amenti. He said, is it 2 rooms here? I was like, yep, that's my daughter's room, my son's room. Our room is back here. He said, it was a person in the hallway. So this is where it's really crazy. He said, I saw a person in the hallway, so I told my wife about it. She said, oh yeah, I came in the hallway last night to check on you. So he saw her walk into the hallway to check on me. and everything was pretty much the same. There was some things that were different. He said some stuff I didn't really get to see right. And I said, and I understand that because I've been in my house outside of my body, and everything isn't always the same. So sure. Yeah. So when he says, he's like, yeah, some of it it's a little not the same, whatever. But it was my house, and nobody else came up and said it. And I said, oh, that's my house. And he said, yeah. He said that was you. Did you sleep on the couch last night? I said, yep. And he said, that's you on the couch. Somebody was coming in the hallway, and I asked my wife. I said, I said, hey, look at the diagram. I said, that's a person walking in the hallway. She said, oh yeah, that was probably me because I came in there last night to check on you. And I was like, oh shit. Oh no, it was over. And that was, again, I take all these things as confirmation that I'm on the right path, that I'm following the path that's meant for me. And so when that happened, I was like, oh shit, let's go. And I was like, then I got super excited. I'm like, I want to try it every night now. I want to keep coming out. And so, but anyway, so this night particularly, I was on the couch and I was putting myself in sleep paralysis, and my soul literally levitated out of my body. I could, and when I say, I was like, yo, what's happening? Like, as I'm raising up, I'm like, what is happening? And then this calm came over me and said, let go, you coming out. It's that literally what I heard audibly in my ear. Let go, you coming out. So I just let go, and I floated to the edge of the couch, and I stood up. I looked back, I saw myself sleep, and I started walking down the hallway. Now, in my hallway, if you make a left, you can go out the front door. My intention was to go out the front door to go outside. I always want to go outside. But a shadow being, and when I say shadow being, it's just a figure of a human, but it's a shadow. There's no detail to it. It's just a shadow. Walked through my front door and walked in front of me and made a left down the hallway going towards my room. So I'm like, first of all, who are you? Why are you in my house? And where are you going? So at this point, I don't want to go outside. I want to follow this being. So I followed this shadow being into my bedroom. The being, and I'm in my bedroom now, so I can literally see where it was at. It stood on the bottom corner of our bed and just stood over my wife and just was looking at her. And I walked up to it and tapped it on the shoulder. Physically tapped it on the shoulder like, it was tall. It was probably about a 6'5". I'm 6'2", 6'1.5". Being was probably 3-4 inches taller than me. So I tapped it on the shoulder and it turned around and looked at me, but it didn't have a face. It was just a shadow. Now, had this happened in the beginning of my journey, I probably been freaked out to the level, I probably been pissing my pants freaked out. But because I had experiences prior to that, and I had this experience with the Lyrans prior to that, I didn't have any fear whatsoever. I just tapped it on the shoulder. It turned around, looked at me. I looked at it, I was like, oh, okay. And walked out of my room.
And what did that feel like? Like, how can you, can you compare that to any experience that you've had?
No, it is no other experience I've had. Like, I literally tapped a being, and it could have been.
Did you feel it when you?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's totally physical. This is physical. I know I tapped. That's how you know you tapped it. You didn't just look at yourself. You felt my finger tap it like this. I did like this. Hey, who are you? And I didn't ask, and I should have. I probably should have asked them to reveal themselves, and then it has to reveal itself. You can't, because you can't deceive another soul on the other side. So if I say reveal yourself, it has to do that. If I command it to reveal itself, it has to do that. Just like if I'm on the other side as a shadow being and you out of your body and I'm in your house, you can ask me to reveal myself and you might see my face, the face you're looking at right now. Because your soul is the same your soul carries the imprint of your physical form on the other side too. So your soul looks like how you look now, but the longer you're over there, the more ability you have to change your appearance to whatever you want it to be. So, I just tapped it on the shoulder and it looked at me and I looked at it and I was like, oh, and it was just a calm, like, oh, okay, I understand. And I walked out the room. So as I'm walking out the room, to the left, my son's room is there and I see a being in his room. And this being did have an appearance. So it was short. It looked like a light-skinned black man with bald head but short, like probably no taller than 5'4", like super short. And he's bald headed, and he was just standing there over my son, looking at him. And I went up to him, and I didn't touch him. He just turned around and looked at me and started smiling, and I started smiling. We started laughing, kind of giggling, laughing at each other. It was no real words. It was just more like a energy. We understood. It was just an understanding. We understood. You're not here to harm anybody. Cool. And we laughed and giggled for a minute, and then I left out of his room, walked past my daughter's room, seen the being standing over her, but I didn't go in the room, and then I kept walking, and then I woke up.
Oh, you saw another being?
I saw like multiple beings in each room, and then there were like these little fairies flying around. I know this sounds crazy, but like Tinkerbell type fairies flying around my room, flying around the room. So I asked about that. I said, "Is this real?" Like when I posted that video, Darius went and watched it, and then he said, "Hey," and he hit me up on Telegram. He said, "Hey, I'm gonna make a video with all of your different testimonies and put in one testimonial." So he put that up not too long ago. I shared it on my page. So he kind of did that and kind of gave some explanation about what I was experiencing that I couldn't give because the words weren't there. The words weren't there to talk about what I was experiencing at that time. But yeah, so I seen beings in my house, and the crazy thing is that Lyran experience is what made it work this time, because I wasn't scared, because I knew I had control. I knew I had command. So if I'd have told that being to leave my house, the shadow being hovering over my wife, if I'd have said leave, it would have had to leave. I knew that, and I knew that. So it did, but it was such a peaceful being, it wasn't no reason to tell it to leave. So, and then my whole apartment lit up in this lime green color. As I was walking out of my room, the whole thing started lit up in this weird, it's a color I've never seen on Earth, but I know it's kind of like a lime green. The walls turn this color, everything turned this color. And then as I started walking back towards my body, I got sucked back in.
Interesting. So would you say, so that experience, how would you differentiate it from a lot of the other experiences that you had? Like, especially that color, the green and the...
No. The only thing that would differentiate it is the fact that the beings were there and the fact that I actually saw my body. But every time I've come out, I've seen amazing color and very vibrant light. Like my first experience, we was outside and it was so bright and the houses looked so colorful and so pretty. Like, and then when you go outside, when I went outside later on that day, it didn't look like that. So, I think the difference in that experience and the other one is just the fact that I got to see those beings.
Got it. And is your perspective like the same kind of perspective? Do you see your soul, hands, arms?
Yeah. So, okay. So funny thing about it is the only time I ever seen my soul hand is when I was tapping that being on the shoulder. Other than that, I don't look at my body. I'm observing what's going on. I'm experiencing what's going on. So, but that time I looked at my hand do like this. I'm like looking at it like, and then I'm looking at the being. So yeah, so your body, your soul carries the same imprint of your body.
Yeah.
So you got hands, you got feet, and then after a while you may not. Like if you're over there long enough, you may not, or you may perceive to not have them. Like I remember my first experience when I said I was hovering 2 feet above the ground. I didn't see my feet. I just knew I was above the ground. I knew I wasn't standing on the ground. I didn't see my feet. I just looked down and all I saw was the ground. I was like, that's not close. Like that's down there. I'm up here. Like I'm floating. Like at that point I knew I was floating, but I didn't see my feet. So I guess the perspective can be different depending on the experience, depending on the person, depending on your experience and having out-of-body experiences. Like I'm still at a point where I'm still gaining control. Like I tell people all the time, I'm not an authority on any of this. I'm still learning and practicing. I'm a practicing out-of-body traveler. I'm not a guru. I don't know everything. I don't know all the details. I do the protocol like I'm supposed to, and then allow that experience to show me what it needs to show me. So
sure.
Yeah.
And in terms of your channel, so in terms of the future, what it holds, what's your plan? Like, so you're going to continue doing this? What are you targeting?
So
Yeah,
I'll be
what's
honest,
your...
I don't even have a plan. I'm just so I start so I started my YouTube channel really just to document as my own little video diary of these experiences so I never forget them. And then I said, hey, I'll share them. If people resonate, cool. If they don't, I don't, whatever. So I don't have a plan in terms of growing the channel. I mean, I'm not, whatever happens with the channel is what happens with the channel, if that makes sense. Like, I want, as far as growth wise, I'm going to continue to share experiences I have, share downloads I have. Like, I got a couple videos where it's not even about experience, it's just things I learned from my experience. So I'll continue to do that. And hopefully people, I want more people to start having out of body experiences, because the more people that have them and the more of us that start remembering that we exist beyond our little current flesh suit and realm one experience, the more people experience that, the more realm one becomes like heaven. Because there used to be a time where I could conceive of myself killing somebody. Like, somebody make you mad, you're like, I could kill that person. Now I can't even conceive of actually killing someone, because I want to live here like I live on the other side, where a soul can't harm another soul. So I want to bring that same energy here. I want to bring that same frequency here. I don't ever want to harm anybody. I don't ever want to lie to people. I don't ever want to, or this is why I don't ever talk about stuff I haven't experienced. Like, if it ain't an experience I had, I'm not going to really, I'll talk about what I may think about it, but I'm never gonna make up an experience or make an experience more in depth than it really was. I tell people all the time, most of my experience has been short. I haven't been able to I haven't got to the point where I can command longer experiences or get more information. Like, I'm still trying to access my mom. Like I said, I've been doing this for over a year and I'm still trying to access her. And every night it doesn't work. Like, every night I put myself in sleep paralysis. Some nights I go to sleep. My latest experience was more of a lucid dream, but in the dream I became aware I was dreaming, and I knew I was in a dream, and I commanded to leave the dream because I didn't like the dream. So the dream I was in, I didn't like it. And I said, yeah, I don't like this dream. I want to leave. And I watched as the dream collapsed in like a tunnel. It collapsed into a tunnel and I sucked back. And the next thing I know, I was waking up. So now I'm understanding I have control even in my lucid dreaming state. So it's just helping me evolve and get more understanding of what control I have when I'm conscious on the other side. So
continue to explore all of this. Document it.
Document it.
And yeah, I think your message is a really powerful one, because no matter what your belief is, right? Everyone's got different belief systems.
Course.
But whatever your belief system is, it's about, like, how can we bring that positivity here so that,
I don't think I personally believe if your belief system doesn't make you a better person here in this realm, and I mean better in terms of wholesale change, like you can't be racist and believe in Christianity, believe in Jesus. It don't make sense. You can't be sexist and believe in Jesus. You can't call yourself a Christian and hate people or hate certain groups of people or whatever. Like, you can't judge transgender people because they just here having an experience. They're not right or wrong, or nobody's right or wrong. We just all here having an experience, and their experience, just because it's different from yours, doesn't mean it's right or wrong. So this is where religion plays that part as a part of the construct, and it's a bondage within the construct, because now you're dealing with polarity, like good, evil, this, that, and the third. And those are all constructs within this realm. Those don't exist outside of here. So now you're judging people. And even when your religion says don't judge, your religion literally says judge not. And you judge. So if your religion doesn't cause you to be if practicing OBEs doesn't cause you to be a better person, then why are you practicing? Because you're getting all of this knowledge from the other side. It should be you should be able to see the fruits of that here. So again, that's my message really is. And it's crazy because now I even understand Jesus more, because I'm like, that was his message. His message was cool. His message was, don't worry about the things of the earth because it don't matter. Duh, it don't. Your existence lasts long before and long after. As a matter of fact, there is no time on the other side. You just exist. There is no past, present, and future. Everything is happening right now and exists in an existence state. Treat people like you want to be treated, because on the other side, you can't treat people any other way. Like, you can't. It's not possible. So, and then love everybody, because on the other side, there only exists unconditional love. Unconditional love means love without judgment. So you can't judge people. What's the point in judging people here? You're not going to be able to judge them on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you were able to judge on the other side, what makes you think you good enough to meet the judgment? You see what I'm saying? Because everybody think they good. Everybody think they're a good person. I think I'm a good person, but am I? Like, have I done stuff that is considered wrong? Sure. We all going to go and have a life review, and we all going to have to feel everything we done to other people, the good and the bad. And everybody, some people's bad part of their life review going to be shorter. But some people think their life review going to be mad short on the bad side, and it's going to be pretty even split down the middle. Like, you know what I mean? So whatever you're doing, whether it's religion, whether it's the OBE state, whatever you're doing, it should change fundamentally how you move in realm one. And the only thing that's changed me is the out-of-body state. Religion never changed how I move. I would go to church on Sunday and do all kind of crazy shit all week, and then go right back to church on Sunday, right? So, and it's the same thing for Muslims too. Muslims, they walk around and they say, oh, I don't eat pork, I don't do this, but then they do a whole bunch of other stuff that ain't technically what you should do either. And every religion has it. So the only thing where I've been able to find something that changed me, like the fundamental way I move in realm one, is this, because I know what the other side is. I'm no longer here trying to be good enough to make it to some place on the other side, or not be bad enough to avoid this place on the other side. Like, I know on the other side, I can do whatever I want. I can leave the construct and go to a whole nother there are infinite amounts of constructs. Infinite. I've seen them. I was taken out of this construct, and I did a video about that. I was in this Victorian style office, and there were like little half domes everywhere, all over the office, big ones, little ones. And I looked in them, and they had whole worlds in them. And it was one of them in the middle of the floor, and it was ours. I could see Africa and Asia and and then I could see it inside a dome, and it had layers. So realm 1, realm 2, all the way up to 12. I could see the layers in it. So this is why I don't believe in NASA and what they say the Earth looks like, or what the universe, because they don't know, or they do know, and they're trying to confuse you so that you never seek to find out the truth of that. But with that being said, I've seen it, and it was multiple, and this was just in one room. So I asked Darius about it, and he said, oh, that could be just the room of the constructs you had a help in designing and building. Because there was a door in the back of the office that if I would have went through that door, it would probably been another room with multiple constructs in it. So they're infinite amounts. So when your soul leaves your body, it's infinite places it can go. Like, you're not bound by anything. There are no parameters. The only thing that you can't do is harm another soul. That's it. Like, you want to go somewhere, you want to create a whole world for yourself. When I've told everybody, this is my last time here, for sure. I'm not coming back to round 1 ever again. I'm done with this place. I don't even know if I'll come back to the construct. I may just leave this and go build another one based on what I want my experience to be, what I want to experience. But I know for a fact I'm never coming here again. This will be my last one. This is my last show here. And also, I believe I'm here to witness something. So that was downloaded to me. I'm not just here to be here. I'm here to witness an event. So I believe that I'm here to witness the end of the construct. So
Really?
Darius talked about the end of the construct, and I've asked him personally what it was about, and he didn't go into much detail, as Darius will never go into a lot of detail because he don't want you to be hoping on his experience. Like he don't want you to have hopium. He wants you to go and see for yourself, which is why I respect him so much. Because a guy in his position with the power of what he has experienced, he could easily create a religion out of this and have people, worshiping him.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. Like he's told us from day one, I'm not here for that. I'm here just to show you guys so that you guys can go see for yourself. And so that's why I have so much respect for him. And this is why, like, if he's ever in my dimensional space or in my field, he's always welcome in my field. Like, if he want to come walk through my house while I don't have no problem with it, because I know what he represents. And it's more so, I'm a teacher. I'm going to show you this, and now I'm going to give it to you, and you go do what you want with it. And so I respect him so much for that. But, yeah, like, I definitely have changed for the better. I'm even better. I have more patience with my kids, more patience with everything, because it's like, it's just part of the experience. Like, it's times in my day where I have to calm myself, and I'll be like, this is just an experience. Just relax.
Yeah.
You focus on this, or you worried about something, and it's like, it's just an experience. You're not the storm. You're the sky that the storm passes through. That's it. That's what it is. So I'm here to witness something. He's told us that the end of the construct is coming, and I believe, from what I understand, I'm here to witness that and to help other souls who not going to understand what's going on when that happens. There's going to be a fundamental shift in the reality as we know it. And a lot of souls ain't going to be prepared for it because they haven't been doing out of bodies. They don't understand. This is why the UFO stuff is starting to get so much traction. People are starting to like, oh my God, I see these orbs. I see this. Well, if you know, these things always been here. You just ain't been able to see them.
Have you seen any orbs?
No, yo, so that's funny you asked me that. I haven't seen an orb, but me and my wife we were living in Florida. We were driving down the highway, and we saw like something looked like a light flashing across the sky, and then it just disappeared. And so we were like looking at it. We were like, what is that? Like, we were driving. I'm looking up through my window. What is that? And like, we were looking at it. We didn't film it. We should have filmed it. But it was like streaking across the sky. And we were like, is it a is it like a firework? But it wasn't no time for fireworks. And it was no other fireworks. So it was just this one singular light source flying across the sky. And it just, bloop, disappeared. And we were like,
both saw it at the same time.
Oh, yeah, we both saw it. If I brought her right now to tell you about it, she'd be like, oh, yeah, we saw that. Like, we both saw it, and we were like, what the hell is that? And in my mind, I was like, dang, why didn't we get a camera out and videotape it? But this was like even before all of the orb stuff was happening. So now what we're seeing is the veil starting to become a little thinner.
I was about to say, as like my last question, do you think that it's all related? All of this, because all of this disclosure, all of this, like,
this is all part of the end of the construct. The construct was built for us to have all the experiences that you can have, for us to be soul gods of our own soul head and come here and experience life as humans. And according to what Darius has told me, everything that can be experienced here on in the construct has been experienced. So once all these, it was built for new experiences. Once all the things that can be experienced here have been experienced, it's time for it to be over. And now the construct will be over. I don't know what that looks like. I've been told by a couple people who said they seen what the end of the construct is supposed to look like. I know in the UFO community, they're talking about this shift from 3D Earth to 5D Earth. I don't know if that's the same. I don't know. But there is an event that is coming that is going to shift reality from the way we see it. And most people are going to be scared by that because all you know is this because you don't practice out-of-body experiences. Once you've been outside of your body, you know your soul exists outside of this flesh suit. You now aren't in fear of what happens to the flesh suit, if that makes sense, right? I don't, if right now a nuclear bomb dropped on my house, I wouldn't be in fear because one, it wouldn't matter. I'd instantly be gone. But only thing would be gone is my flesh suit. My soul would still move on and do other. Your soul has been doing things for eternity. There was never a time where your soul wasn't doing something. You just here for this time having this experience. Your soul been having experiences, I don't want to say since the beginning of time, because there's no beginning of time. There is no beginning or end. It's just existing. You have been existing and having experiences in different realms, different constructs. You've been doing all of this before you even were born here. So being born here is just another experience. And this might not even be the first time you was born here. Some souls, they only come once. Some souls have been here hundreds of times, thousands of times. So I'm still trying to access that. If I have any past lives, my soul records, and see if I've lived here before. I do know for a fact this will be my last time living here. I know that for sure. But I think I'm here to witness the end of the construct or some event that is going to change the reality, what we call reality. Basically, the best way I can say it.
Okay. Corey, it's been a blast, man. We've been talking for almost an hour, well, more than an hour and a half
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
I just want to thank you for coming on, for sharing as much as you shared, for getting really deep, very vulnerable, and yeah, I'm looking forward to watching more of your experiences and seeing where you get to.
Absolutely.
With it all.
Thank you for having me. I think the biggest part, the most important piece of this is keep sharing these experiences with other people who are interested. And then you share your experience with somebody and they share. Again, I want people to start remembering. Once you start remembering who we are and that we exist eternally, once we start remembering that, it will fundamentally change how we operate right now. So I'll thank you for giving me the opportunity, like I said before, to talk on your platform, get something from it. I know people will, because there are souls that are meant to hear these messages. So kudos to you for setting up a platform to share them. And so thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you.